let's go look at something else. So, the fucking war in the East. Yes.
Which one? The fighting war or
The proxy
yeah.
war reminiscent of Vietnam. That one.
Mm.
So, the dumb ass dipshits are expecting us to fucking believe they give two flying shits about peace when they pull this shit. Ukraine and allies plan peace summit without Russia. Please
What the fuck?
How can you make a peace summit? What?
Bleach.
How?
What the fuck was exactly the title of my piece on this on Wednesday? It was what the fuck when.
Shit, this shit makes me look like Einstein. Why are people actively being more dumb than I am?
Because
I mean, it's
it's all performative proxy war bullshit. They want to stand there and go, "We want peace. We even planned a peace summit." Did you invite the other guys? No. Why the fuck would we do that? We might actually get peace.
Yeah.
They don't actually. They don't actually want an end to this war.
So I'm just going to say something here. It might be controversial. It's not an original thought, mind. The only reason that we have not gone to World War III is Russia's restraint.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. Like, Putin will not allow Russia to be invaded. I think it's a safe bet to say that. The question is...
Nor will he let Russia be humiliated with a exploitative peace.
No. Like we covered last week, that the dickheads want a 60-mile demilitarized zone inside Russia. Okay, so that basically means make 60 miles of Russia in from the border, Ukraine. Also, as if 60 miles is going to achieve shit in the days of cars that travel at least that many miles an hour.
Yep.
I'm sorry, the average tank can do 60 miles an hour.
55, but still, the point well taken. I mean, to me, the problem with the Russian war in Ukraine is mostly that Russia is a nationalist country. They're not playing this WEF bullshit. Now, I can understand arguments and appreciate arguments that, like, well, maybe it kind of sort of is, but that's not the main thrust of my point. Russia is looking out after Russian interests. They're not playing this game of global, knife to the throat. And until they see an opportunity to say, yeah, let's avoid getting wrapped up in the dependence on a foreign nation, therefore we have peace at all costs. Russia's not playing that.
Well, that's it.
And
Russia doesn't want to be
to
part of the one world government bullshit. No, Russia wants to exist for Russia. Mother Russia and her people. Which is a foreign fucking concept to all the Western governments, apparently. God forbid you look after your own fucking people.
And God forbid that you allow them pride in the nation in which they live.
Why would you be proud of the nation you're from? That's so evil and sexist.
That's so white supremacist without the curry.
Yeah, and as Tristan points out, 60-mile DMZ means no SAM sites on the Russian border, which guarantees NATO air supremacy over Ukraine and well into Russia.
Yeah.
Medja says... Sorry, go on.
No, I mean, and that's a death knell to the sovereignty of any nation.
Absolutely.
We want peace, but we want everything that makes you you.
Yes, we want peace by your complete submission.
I mean, let's be honest. They're spelling peace, P-I-E-C-E.
Yes, we want peace, a piece of your land.
Yep.
Like, at least when the traditional imperialist countries invaded, they were honest about it. You invade me. Yes.
Chad, yes. I will invade you, and I will control everything about you.
Yeah. Maka says there are plenty of NATO bootlickers here that want to outright invade Russia. Yeah, it's funny how you don't see them at the recruitment office.
Hmm.
If they
That's not funny. That's
if we
perfectly
go,
normal.
yeah, if we want to, if we go to war with Russia, I vote the people with the Ukrainian flags in their bio first. You like the fucking place so much, you go defend it.
Didn't some
I
of them
agree with
do that? Some of them did that, and then they were stupid enough to like post their locations on fucking
Yes, and the Russians
Reddit and
bombed
shit
them.
and got people killed.
Yes,
Wait, what? Seriously?
yes,
Yeah.
Or
remember
they were
this.
used as expendable cannon fodder by the Ukrainians.
yep.
Oh,
Do you not remember? I'm pretty sure Callum did a segment on it. To be honest,
He probably
I'm
did.
sure it was Callum that did. I think it was Callum.
Yeah, because
But-
they were there for performative bullshit. They weren't there
Yeah.
to fight. They were there to look
at
good.
me. Give me virtue points. I'm fighting for Ukraine, and then like posting their location and stuff, and then bombs.
Yeah.
Russia's like, here's, thanks.
Yeah, also,
Was
thank
it
you
with
for
those
the
people?
justification because you've literally posted a photo of soldiers in this otherwise non-military building. Cheers, we're just going to bomb that. Thank you for the justification.
Well, and not only that, but it's like, well, gee, they're saying we blew up a school, and oh wait, no, it was actually soldiers,
Well,
depot.
well, that's it.
Whoop-de-doo.
Oh, they're saying we blew up a school. Well, yes, we did, but here, have a look at this photo by one of the dickheads in the school. Yeah, see how he's a soldier and he's surrounded by other soldiers? Like, fuck's sake. Doing the Russian Ministry of Bullshitaganda is job for them.
Maybe we don't send these idiots over there.
Mm-hmm.
to be honest, it's just fucking Ruskies fighting Ruskies, just from with different colored flags at this point. They have the same tactics, they have the same ideas.
So,
It's just that Zelensky is basically a fucking cam whore.
I mean,
kind
there's
of,
more
but
to it than that.
that wasn't exactly what we were talking about, Jim.
No, I'm saying that.
Yes.
I mean,
You're not
Zelensky
wrong, but-
is a whore for, like
Oh,
a cheap stripper that's going to the Hunter Biden's
Yes.
Parmesan cheese parties.
Yeah.
Huh.
But it was incredible.
Well,
it was.
All the young men of the country have been drafted to stick on the front lines.
Yeah.
He's doing his fucking world tour.
Oh, it's funny. It's funny how all the trans men in Ukraine suddenly found their original birth certificates, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had to dress as a woman to get across the border.
Oh no! The men had to go die. Fucking cowards.
No, I said at the time, like, if these trans men had went, well, I transitioned, I guess sign me up. Like, I'd have had so much more respect for them
Yeah, absolutely.
in their chosen pronouns, because it'd be like, do you know what? At least you've taken on the responsibilities that come with your new.
Yeah, I'd have
pronouns.
called them he.
Yeah.
Same.
Oh, I mean, Metro, though, he's saying, all Zelensky's done is go around on a fundraising tour. But he's worn camo. Doesn't that count for anything?
No.
He got an Oscar. Was it an Oscar he got? He got some kind of acting award, didn't he?
Well, he's
Yeah,
a fucking.
well, he is.
Penn-
He is an
Sean
actor.
Penn loaned him his Oscar.
No.
Oh, God.
Just
The alt version
pathetic.
of that.
So pathetic. Well, he certainly is the best actor. He's the highest grossing actor of the last year, isn't he?
Yes.
Hey guys, you've seen Freedom Tunes
Yes.
fucking video where he's animated that Zelensky is basically sitting around like, what was that streamer chick who went like, oh, how can you not donate $5 fucking dollars?
I
yeah,
don't.
yeah.
I remember the story, but I
That-
don't remember which particular cow it was.
I mean,
So
what
Zelensky is
it is the
Ukrainian
action
here.
that is more important than the individual.
Yes. So let's read some shit. So Medja says Russia invades Ukraine. The West then makes Russia look like the good guys by acting like insane, suicidal war pigs. Well done. Well done.
What?
Genius.
Medja also says Russia for Russians. Ludicrous.
Funny that.
That's right, George. Russia should belong to the cats.
Yes.
Yeah, Little Green Martian says, sounds like what they did with Kosovo. Callum talked about it in his latest video. Magic says it's almost as like saying ready to fight a war was a bad idea or something. Yeah, they all went over there, and then they were surprised when the Ukrainians like, "What do you mean you want to go home? It's only been a fucking month."
It's only been a week.
Yeah,
Your photo ops are gone. No, here's your AK. Go fight.
yeah. Oh dear.
And that's really the weird thing with all this is there's so much of a yes, we need to support the Ukrainians by sending them money, but that's all they're doing.
We've got to raise
Almost
the
like-
debt ceiling so we can send Ukraine more money.
Yeah, it's
Literally.
almost like maybe there's a laundry going on somewhere. Where-
Speaking of,
Okay, you guys know how I don't know much about things. What do you guys? What does it mean when people start talking about debt ceilings? I don't understand that one.
well,
So,
Trim, you
in-
know
in the
how
American context-
if you go to your bank and ask them how much money you're allowed to borrow, and they say $100. Well,
Yes.
imagine if you could change the law so the bank had to give you $1,000, and then you kept changing the law again and again and again for 70 years, and then all of a sudden the bank's given you $200 trillion, and the bank has no money, so it falls over and collapses.
Oh, that is.
That.
Oh my god, that's actually retarded.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wish I didn't ask. I would have been better off not knowing.
In this,
No.
but in this case, you are the Democrat Republican Uni Party, and the bank is the what? Federal
Federal
Reserve?
Reserve.
Yeah, Federal Reserve.
Oh. Great.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to say a lot of things that shouldn't be said, so I'm just gonna be silent.
Hmm.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah.
It's a hard place.
Speaking of pissing money down the drain, Pentagon has unveiled a new $300 million arms package for Ukraine.
Oh, sure. Why the fuck not?
Jesus Christ.
Oh, this is retarded.
Including air defense systems and tens of millions of rounds of ammunition. Shit, at this rate, they're
Yeah.
going to give Ukraine as much gear as they gave the Iraqis.
So
Enough.
Taliban.
Yeah.
never quite that much.
Oh, they're
So-
trying. They're fucking trying.
Well, they're working on it.
Here's a tinfoil hat moment. One of
Go on.
many. So the United States military is trying to switch to like a 6.5 Creedmoor or something. So I can't remember the exact round, but it's a different type of ammunition that we currently have. So my thinking, again, tinfoil hat, is they're trying to get rid of their current stockpiles because civilians have access to the 5.56 NATO rounds. So if they're going to do this switch, why let the civilians get it when you can send it overseas and basically try to render civilian firearms incapable of taking this, current ammunition when they switch to the new one, therefore restrict the amount that can be in the public sphere, so to speak.
Typical.
Because, dastardly ideas.
Yeah. So, the Defense Department said the latest shipments will bring the total value of US security assistance to Ukraine to $37.6 billion.
Good God.
I hate them so much.
But there's no money for mental health care for American veterans.
No. Yeah, they want to put them in a maid system because reasons.
Yep.
Well, it's disposable ordnance as far as they're concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Cannon fodder.
this package includes munitions for Patriot air defense systems, AIM-7 air defense missiles, Avenger air defense systems, and Stinger anti-aircraft missiles. Also part of the package is
God.
ammunition for high mobility artillery rocket systems. So they're no longer supplying defensive weaponry. They're supplying offensive weaponry. 155mm and 105mm artillery rounds, 105mm tank ammunition, and Zuni aircraft rockets. And 30 million rounds of small arms ammunition.
And 30 million rounds of Ebola. You can make a retarded fucking Christmas song with this.
Well, we were working on that. Yeah.
Yes.
But I liked it better when it was a joke.
Yeah.
Mm,
We all did.
sadly, the joke's on us.
Yeah.
But hey, don't worry, it's not just America that's pissing away all their civilians' tax money for nothing.
Shall we talk about the UK deciding to supply cruise missiles?
No, we did that last week.
Oh, okay.
Well, not last week, the last proper episode. No, this time we're going to talk about how the Dutch want to buy dozens more Leopard 1 tanks and Patriot missiles for Ukraine. Dozens more. Like the Netherlands...
Maureen, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Maureen posted this going, what the fuck? The Netherlands wants to buy several dozen more Leopard 1 tanks to deliver to Ukraine. Right, so you're actually supplying them... You're supplying them actual physical aid. How is this not actually participating in the war at this point? Like,
I mean,
I think we
it
sent them planes, didn't we? And
yeah.
missiles.
Yeah. So I look at the Winter War, and there was a lot of material aid being given to Finland during that. And but it was never advisory level stuff. And that was the moment where if the West had sent advisors to Finland, then that would have been considered a declaration of war. And I think this goes back to my comment about Russian restraint earlier. This is a clear provocation. This is, while technically legal, what I see is happening is we're giving the money and the materiel. So basically, we're paying ourselves in the West and in NATO specifically the cost of these pieces of equipment that we're sending to Ukraine. But first, we're sending it to Ukraine and then taking the money back as a money laundering scheme to give Ukraine this hardware.
yeah.
Like,
Hey, Bleach, be careful. You're making too much sense. I mean, no, you're being a conspiracy theorist.
Oh, sorry. Well, we're not on YouTube, so it don't matter.
Oh, it's alright then.
So, what? Well, seriously, a logical person would think that supplying substantive military aid in the form of actual military fighting vehicles, you'd think that'd be actually contributing to the war effort. The West NATO and the West are participants in this fucking war. They're just lucky Russia hasn't decided to acknowledge them.
Yeah, I mean, we are significantly lucky that Russia hasn't decided to be like, yeah, no, fuck it. One, I don't think they're strong enough internally for a global war. Militarily, I think they're more capable than what we're seeing, because they're not going to send their best to fuck around with, the neo-Nazis that the West is propping up.
Yeah, they've got to maintain their borders and whatnot. Like, obviously the invasion didn't go as well as they'd hoped thanks to internal corruption, but still, there's a lot of Russians, and we've seen what a bunch of retards with AK-47s can do to the best armies of the West.
Yes.
So, there's this constant provocation. Especially with this, oh, we're going to take Russian territory. No, fuck off. You set foot over the Russian border, the night sky is going to get awfully fucking bright.
Yep.
Putin will not allow them to take Russian territory. Like, it's one thing for the Ukrainians to win, even with NATO support, but they set one foot over that fucking border. Well, especially NATO. Like, Ukraine's bad enough, but if NATO gets involved, well, that's it, World War III is on. But if NATO crosses the Russian border, no, Putin's not going to allow them to take the nation.
I mean, I'm just going to say it outright. I think if things got that far, the Russians would call on their longtime rival, China, for
Yeah.
military support because China wants to see the West fail.
Yeah. While China's gleefully sitting there looking over the water at Taiwan going, go on, you dickheads, send your boats to Russia.
Mm-hmm.
But in Chinese.
Chi hang hop chi.
Oh, you'll very, very likely go Taiwan. Oh.
Yes. Please do. Please do.
Yeah, that's the problem, Tristan. We know that Russia can't win a war against NATO. That's not the problem. The problem is what happens if Putin loses to NATO. You think Putin's going to allow Russia to lose to NATO? Like, what do you think Putin's going to do if he looks out the window and sees American tanks rolling down the street? Putin's... Yeah.
Funny nukes towards the US.
Putin is not going to allow himself to lose. And Russia to a greater extent. Like, yeah, obviously, if we were just talking conventional weaponry, if it was just guns and tanks, shit, we would have taken Russia out decades ago. This whole thing goes back to what was going on in the Cold War. We're sitting here going mutually assured destruction. Well, what happens when Putin has nothing to lose?
And that's the thing I am terrified of is the West constantly pushing Russia, the concept of Russia, into a corner where it's like, yeah, why are they going to hesitate?
Yeah. And yeah, militarily, Tristan's correct. If it was just a matter of guns and bullets, we'd kick Russia's ass back and forwards. But as Prime Knight puts it, Putin has the big tantrum button, and he's just crazy enough to use it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Especially because there's rumors that he's not very well as well.
Yeah, it's funny how Putin's been dying of cancer for 2 years now.
Yeah.
But if he has very little to lose and he's already backed into a corner, you think he's not crazy enough to push the button?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he will.
Maybe he's not. Maybe he wouldn't want the Russian civilians to die in the retaliatory blaze of nuclear hellfire. But what if he is? We spent 50 fucking years of doing, what if those Russians are that fucking crazy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, again, I just have this feeling that, the Russians are far more put together on this topic than the entirety of the West. And it's because they're not playing these stupid games and ideological bullshit that the West is.
Yeah.
And
like the thing is, like, think to yourself, everyone in the audience and those here on the panel, if you were the leader of your country and China invaded and China was encircling your capital, what would you do? Would you surrender to give this insane tyrannical power? Okay, yes, NATO and China aren't like that, but would you surrender to give this insane tyrannical power complete and utter dominance over your people? Or would you go, fuck it, and nuke them?
easy answer.
Yeah, at some point, if
Not even a question.
if you don't get cooed and that they don't sue for peace, at some point, as the enemy gets closer, you're going to be sitting there going, do I just fucking nuke them? If they're going to kill me and my people anyway, which, granted, NATO hopefully won't,
thing, right?
but...
Putin has come out and pointed out, and loudly pointed out, the anti-white agenda in the West.
Mm.
So, I mean, what would he be left to think would happen other than, okay, they're invading, they intend to wipe my people out anyway?
Yeah, culturally, if nothing else.
I honestly think it goes a degree further than culturally, but
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but we'll stick with that baseline because, it's an easier argument to make, shall we say?
yeah, true.
But yeah, I think I think and Tristan's kind of pointing at this, where there's so many in the West. Oh, Putin's unhinged. He's nuts. He's all. It's like no, he's acting the way I would expect an imperialist nationalist force to act.
Yes. Tristan is attaching himself to words that I'm saying and not the intent I'm saying behind. When I'm saying Putin's crazy, I mean Putin is just different enough to the norm. Putin has the guts and the cunning where he will turn around and go, right, I'm backed into a corner. What are my logical options? And if your logical option is nuke the bastards, I don't want to be the bastards.
Yeah. And I think this is something where, while Putin is a product of the KGB,
Mm-hmm.
he's also a Russian first. And if you've looked at the threads of how he's done his foreign policy and all that, being Russian is his primary motivation for everything he does. And I wish the West had half the testicular fortitude to do so.
Well, it's
unfortunately,
it's like when Trump was in charge. They were all saying, they're going, "Oh, Trump's insane. Trump's crazy." I was saying that Trump's crazy in that just useful way.
Yep.
Putin and Trump are that kind of crazy that you want from a national leader who has to fend off other world powers. China and Russia weren't fucking with America while you had Trump, who they're like, we can't really predict him. Like the Russians were saying, we can't predict him. We don't know what he's doing next. Is he nuts enough that he's going to nuke us if we do this?
Yep. And that's the thing. When you have a leader of a country who is, I guess, not playing by the typical rules, that's when you actually have things happen.
Exactly. Like Putin invaded, what was it, Crimea under Obama, wasn't it? And now he's invaded Ukraine under Biden. But he didn't invade anywhere under the completely fucking nuts Trump.
Yep.
Why? Because the Russians couldn't predict what Trump's response was going to be. Biden's response...
And they also knew that Trump was going to look after American interests and to hell with everything else.
Yes.
And that's a big fucking deal that most people don't seem to be comfortable with.
Yeah, because today it's to be a nationalist means to be evil, when it actually just means to love your own country.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If Chinese boots had set foot on US soil, Trump would have nuked them. If NATO boots set foot on Russian soil, what's to say that Putin won't just nuke them?
Yeah,
I really hope that we don't end in nuclear hellfire, but we know that the Russians have nukes. What's to say they won't use them if they're backed against the wall?
Exactly, and I think to me, we should be pushing for peace conferences right now, and not punitive peace conferences. We don't need a Versailles 2.0.
No.
Where it's like, we're going to make sure that we're going to cause more problems down the road.
That's it. I mean, the fucking peace treaties at the end of World War One's part of what gave Hitler his rise.
Oh, yeah.
We need to break away from these punitive punishments. If we tell them to go fuck off and point guns at them, they're not going to come take half our fucking income to repay for what other people did.
Yep. This is one of those, for me, ever since the end of World War One, all we've done is perpetuate the need for additional wars. And wars of conquest versus wars of peacekeeping are a lot more based. I would rather see like Colombia invade Nicaragua or Venezuela trying to conquer them than this infighting bullshit like is what's happening with Ukraine. It's like, no, you go in, you fucking kill people, you win, you move on.
Mm-hmm. And
And
of course, anytime when people talk about people going into these stupid pissing peacekeeping missions, how many lives are we going to throw down the fucking toilet just for, say, Ukraine? Like, oh, if NATO goes in, it's going to be 27 countries versus the whatever the population of Russia is. Yeah, that's great, but one, how many of those people are we willing to send to war to die? And how many, and say we're willing to, say the crazy people in charge are willing to send every man, woman, and child to die. Granted, I'm using a hell of a lot of hyperbole here, but I'm trying to use it for a rhetorical fact. We send everyone off to fight in Russia. That's great. How many, even if we win, like, we're going to win, probably. Assuming Russia doesn't nuke us, we're going to win the shooting war. But how many of our people are going to die for what exactly? Donbass? Who gives a shit about Donbass? How many...
or Ossetia?
Yeah. How many American, British, Australian, Canadian, weird European countries' lives are we willing to spend on this Eastern European frozen shithole?
Yes.
I'm not...
Well, the problem isn't we, the problem is our government.
Yes, exactly.
Well, yeah.
Exactly. And that's the problem with all this fucking saber rattling that we're looking at here. Oh, we playing peace, so we're not going to invite the Russians. Well, one, way to insult them. Like, you think they're evil and insane, so you're just going to poke that bear, are you? Because remember, that the
As
Russian
opposed
bear
to
you're...
Macron and Zelensky, who probably
Yeah.
are evil and insane.
Yes. Like, we're dealing with... It's like every time these idiots go, oh, we need to put troops, like I've had it here in Australia, we need to send troops to Ukraine. That's, okay, fantastic. So you want to send our soldiers to die on behalf of Ukraine. Secondly, I don't see you volunteering. I'm hearing it a lot from women who aren't going to be the ones getting drafted. Like, okay, say we do send our military to Ukraine. How are we defending our country? Are we going to get conscripts to do the defense? Or are we going to keep our professional army to do the defense and send conscripts to Ukraine?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know about any of you guys, but I don't particularly feel like getting kidnapped by armed thugs in the middle of the night and getting sent off to a frozen European shithole.
Well, if I'm going to die, I'm going to die warm, not cold. So I'll be trying to kill those assholes who come to try and conscript me.
I mean, I look at it the way I looked at when I was talking to a recruiter back in 2001, 2002. Yeah, 19-year-old bleach and all that stuff. It was like, so I'm basically getting told I can go off and fight not for a war of conquest, but for what? Yeah,
To defend...
making somebody else happy and content and a piece of shit.
Well,
No, fuck that.
that's it. You can either go on a war of conquest to get all the loot and booty, or you can get sent off to Ukraine to defend them, to defend Ukraine, who's done what exactly for America?
Exactly. And but the suffering of people. We have people suffering domestically. I want to fix that problem before I try to fix some problem.
It's not
people
yeah.
I don't know.
It's not like we're talking about Australia and New Zealand, who, at least traditionally, if one of the countries invaded would immediately go, we're in. We've been allies the entire history of our fucking nations. Literally the entire history of our nations. We are very culturally similar. We've got identical roots and heritage. Yeah, of course Australia and New Zealand would help each other if one of them was invaded. But why the how? What is Ukraine's relationship to Australia, New Zealand, America, England? Like the last time that any of us were engaged in a war in that part of the nation, Ukraine didn't exist. Or if it did, it was part of the USSR.
And that's the thing. If this was, back in like 1944, and we decided to help the UPA, which was the Ukrainian independence army, that were fighting both the Soviets and the Nazis at that time. And we said, yeah, we're going to help them out so they can be independent, just like we should have been helping the Poles and all that. That would have been one thing. That would have been, in a sense, a war of conquest. We were dismantling the Soviet Union. That's not what we're doing now. Right now, we're fighting a war of stability.
Yeah.
And I say stability not as in, oh, everything's hunky-dory. It's, we are creating a order that shall not be deviated from, because if
A new
there's
world order,
deviance-
you might say.
Yes. And that terrifies me more because it's a conquest not of territory, but of humans.
Yeah.
It's like slavery 3.0.
It's a slow, creeping conquest of nations. National identity, perhaps, might even be better. It's slow, gradual, creeping, and one day you wake up and the people making decisions for your country aren't the people that you theoretically voted for. Or at least you had elections that were potentially legitimate. No,
I mean,
you're being ruled by
would-
some. If you're being ruled by some dickhead in the Tower of Babel or Babel in fucking in Europe, or you're part of fucking Klaus Schwab's New World Order.
I mean, I would say you're like a cockney in London. You turn around and you find that your people have been basically exterminated.
Mm-hmm.
And your new overlords are people who have no familiarity with you or your culture, and they don't care. And
Or they're actively hostile to it.
yeah,
Yeah, don't be offensive and prioritize your own life and health. Die for the machine on the other side of the ocean.
die for die.
Jesus fucking
Don't
Christ.
no dying for your nation. Die for Klaus Schwab.
That's right. All
No.
hail the diversity.
Die for climate change.
If only some of them would.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. They all sit there going, "Oh, the world's too populated." Well, you're a populace. Do something about yourself.
Yep.
But that never fucking occurs to them, does it?
You die
That's what you
first.
want.
Well, that's it. If you want to decrease the human population, well, lead by fucking example.
Yeah.
Kill yourself.
Okay, I was trying to be a smidge subtler than that, but yes.
Or the sake of any possible Rumble censors. That was a joke.
Well, yeah. It was a
It's
big
not the
joke.
Rumble censors I'm worried about. It's the
good point.
it's the fucking British shoot staff are going after disco that's concerning.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Don't worry, Disco is in no way related to me and my antics. Everything I say is on me.
You say
Yeah.
that now, but that's not going to stop them from knocking on doors.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm honestly surprised that hasn't started happening in Canada yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. How would you know?
Come on, it'd probably be my door they'd knock on first.
Yeah, but they can't find you in the fog.
I'm sorry, eh?
Okay.
I'm sorry, Ardent. You're being too based, eh?
Yeah, my CSIS agent Jacques shows up at the door. Hello, my friend. You have been too Darrenac, what is the word? Spicy for.
I'm sorry. I
yeah.
just came from the country of, the one with the communist, eh?
What, Canada?
Yes. I mean, which country doesn't have fucking communists at this point?
Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah, ironically, yeah.
Oh man, that makes me sad.
It should. It should make all of us sad and humiliated.
Yeah. I tell you what, how many communists do you think there are in Poland?
In Poland,
Alive or dead?
you know that they've actually
Alive.
outlawed
In the ground
communists.
or not the ground?
They've made outlawed communists in Poland, by the way.
That's
Based.
why Poland is the most based country in the world.
Also one of the most fucking hardcore because regardless, it's like, Poland will always survive because fuck, everybody's fucking tried to kill us, but we're still here.
Unironically, if a global war broke out and I had to make a decision between defending the United States as it currently is or Poland, I would have a hard choice to make.
Yeah,
It's
right?
fucking Poland though.
It's like,
Look,
Polish history is kind of based, you know.
Poland has the appropriate attitude towards both communists and Nazis. Kill them all.
Yep.
Yes. Well, one of my favorite images is one of the Polish national parades, and they have this anti-communist, anti-fascist, and anti-queer banner. And
Based.
it's just like all of them, just like fuck this international bullshittery.
Oh, fuck, that's violently based.
There's something that doesn't happen every day. I accidentally stabbed my microphone.
Oh.
He stabbed it. Jesus
You were
Christ.
so excited.
I was. Well, no, I won't even say that on Rumble. Fuck that. Too many possible things I could say. No, I was just cutting a piece of string, but yeah, knife slipped, bang, right into the bottom of the microphone. Okay, it's good thick plastic.
Well, so what were you saying about retards and knives earlier?
Fair.
The Bulgarians aren't too far behind either.
Yeah,
What's that with the banning communists or being
Yeah,
retards?
and just
Oh,
being
the-
kind of based in general.
oh,
Yeah.
this is pretty fucking based. Thankfully, it's Rumble and we can actually show it. Oh god, I'm not looking forward to cutting this episode for the clips.
Nice.
There's a
Ah.
lot.
And I'd like to institute a new tradition on Sultans. As often as we say "fuck New York," we should at least be saying "fuck Bill Gates."
Yes.
Well, isn't Bill Gates from New York? Or is that Portland? I can't remember.
Well,
Well,
regardless,
California.
if it's New York or Portland, he's still a parasite who's climbed out of another fucking filthy hole. for a
Worse,
parasite.
Seattle.
No, he's from Seattle.
Ew!
Oh God, the New York of the Northwest.
Wait, what? Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to remember my geography.
Yeah, our American Northwest,
Yes.
not your Northwest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Pacific Northwest.
I was trying to remember my American geography. The sad thing is, I could probably do better than most American school kids.
It wouldn't take much.
Then again, it'd probably be like, communists, fuck that place. Okay, this is the good. Oh, that's Texas, that's Florida. Fuck all these states over here in the Northeast.
I think New Hampshire's kind of based.
Not like it used to be.
Not true.
I mean, yeah.
We do have the best state motto, though.
Live free or die.
Oh yeah.
Shame
The
they're
further
not
north
living
you
up
go,
to
the
that.
more based you are in Norway. The further south you are, the worse you are. So Oslo.
Well, that's not terribly
Okay.
surprising. The more harsh the conditions the people live in, the less likely they are to have
Too
time
much
for this
old
political
stuff.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, unless you're in Michigan, and then you get Gretchen Bitchmer.
Mm.
Or that weird fish creature who just got yeeted from Chicago.
Yeah, but Chicago's not a real
Oh.
place.
She failed upward so hard.
Yeah. You mean university professor Laurie Fishface?
Yeah.
She failed upward like a salmon swimming upstream, which is not a completely inappropriate analogy.
Yeah, again,
Yeah.
that's why I call her Fish Lady.
Yeah.
She
Fish
is a
wife.
fish. Holy shit.
That's Professor
Yeah, but-
Beetlejuice to you, Major.
Between Professor Sculpin and Professor Catfish, it's supposed to make it easier for you guys to understand. And fucking the little walleye by Disney.
Hmm.
Oh god.
Okay, I am 90%
Yeah, there
sure
you
that
go,
they
Little
fucking
Green
used
Merchant, live action
CGI.
Ariel's real mother.
I caught none of
I'm
that because you were
90%
both talking at the same time. Sorry.
Yeah,
Shut up,
meanwhile, back at Bleach being able to talk clearly. I got nothing to say, but I'm just going to say that.
Show off.
Damn right.
Oh, Little Green Marshall says live action Ariel's true mother.
That's what I was pointing out, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
I mean, Neptune probably went around and fucked around, so probably Laura Lightfoot. Poseidon was drunk as fuck, and then he saw Lightfoot. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
might as fucking well.
Yeah. If you enjoyed this segment from the Sons of Chardonnay podcast, please consider joining us live exclusively on rumble.com/c/Sons of Chardonnay. A special thanks to our subscribe star supporters who you can currently see scrolling past on your screen.